Okay, roll call. Scott Gay,
Tracy Woodard.
Randolph Williams. You can have one of those and get Tracy one. I got to get Tracy. So you were the chairman by definition, so we have to elect the vice chairman and secretary. You say yes, okay. Yes, so you're the chairman by definition. Right. So Tracy and Tracy, I'll take on the secretary job if you want me to do that. Okay.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be vice,
Okay.
vice chair.
Okay, so I need to vote. We need to vote that Tracy was nominated to be vice chairman. I second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
And in old business,
We need to vote on me to be the
Scott?
secretary.
You're talking a little louder, we can't hear you back here.
Yes, sir.
I nominate Scott Gay to be the secretary.
a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, purpose of authorize a committee.
You got any, we can speak first. Go ahead. Tracy, do you have any, you want to add to the purpose of the committee? Okay. Keep reminding me if I need to speak up.
You do. Speak up.
All right.
Come up this way.
The purpose of the audit selection.
We are gonna move that.
Yeah, we can do that.
I just wondered.
Ooh, I'm sorry. Some of this It is hot.
Purpose of the Audit Selection Committee is defined in statute 219.391, section 3. The job of the Audit Selection Committee is to, there's 5 sections delineated. Number 1 is to establish factors to use for the evaluation of audit services to be provided by a CPA firm. Item B, publicly announce a request for proposal. Item C, provide interested firms with a request for proposal. Item D, evaluate proposals provided by qualified firms. And E is rank and recommend in order of preference no fewer than 3 firms to be deemed qualified. So that's what the statute says about the Auditor Selection Committee.
Any objectives of the committee?
I would like to interject that I found a wonderful resource on the Auditor General's site today, and I can email it to you, or it's actually a training session that goes through all of the statutes and the whys and the wherefores, and there's like little quizzes and everything. So I think it would be really excellent training for us.
Okay.
If you give me your email, I will email it to you.
Okay. It's RW.
RW?
Dot 27779. Yeah.
Scott?
Are you gonna make this part of the minutes, that document?
I can. Find what the name of it is. That's a good idea. That way it'd be findable for everybody. I'm always looking for training materials. Just in the background like this. It's called, is that under the, it's at fgfoa.org.
Yeah.
FG. FOA.
FOA.org, and it's called the Auditor Selection. And there's legal requirements, recommending non-mandatory guidance, there's mandatory guidance. I just think it'd be a really good training tool for us. We could all go over that before the next meeting.
Why don't you mail that link to Audrey and us, and we'll just make it a part of the minutes.
Okay, all right, sounds good. And I think that'll line us out where we're supposed to go, so.
Okay.
So the objective, otherwise the objectives of the committee would be to enter into, well, eventually to enter into negotiations to find the best auditor for
Our
us.
job is to advertise to seek auditors and recommend to the town council 3 qualified candidates
Right.
for them to choose from. So that's our job.
I don't know where the guidelines are on the RFPs, but we probably should find a model RFP.
Well, I asked Audrey if she had the previous RFP from the most recent request proposal, and she hasn't responded yet. So
Okay.
she might have it.
She probably has that.
Are we don't still on the objectives of the committee?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I want to say a couple things. I'm a licensed CPA in the state of Florida. That's why I submitted an application to be on, to the town council to be on this committee, and I'm grateful they have approved me. But I want to say that when I'm a CPA and I feel that I'm held to a higher standard when I serve in a capacity as a fiduciary for the public as it relates to financial matters. And I consider this committee such responsibility, and I'll conduct myself accordingly. I keep my CPA license current and active, which requires 80 hours of continuing education every 2 years, 20 of which must be in the area of auditing and accounting. I'm familiar with the planning, professional skepticism, and actual and perceived independence required of an auditor. The public, which includes citizens, lenders, grantors, state, local, and federal government agencies, and other unrelated third parties, expect a level of independence between the auditor and the entity being audited. The FICPA publishes a document. The FICPA is an organization of certified public accountants in Florida, and they help educate accountants as rules change, and they work with the legislature. So the FICPA published a document called Compliance Auditing in Florida Counties, Municipalities, and Special Districts. Page 1 of that document, which I'm going to make part of the minutes, Compliance Auditing in Florida Counties. Page 1 recommends that everyone working on the audit, the engagement partner right down to the staff, study this practice aid. It's probably similar to what we're going to study this. I think it would be beneficial for each member of the committee to obtain a copy and be familiar with the standards and compliance requirements expected of an auditor. I have a copy. If anyone would like me to provide it to them, I'll just email you the link like I did Audrey, and I'm going to make that part of the minutes. And if anybody out here would like that, just contact me. I'll send you the same document.
Put it on this too.
Sir?
If you send it to me, I'll put it in the notes. Allison Brewster.
Also, Florida Statute 218.391(2)D says the Audit Selection Committee may serve as other audit oversight purposes as determined by the entity's governing body. So that means we could do more than just help select the auditor if the town wishes to engage us in that manner. So the state of Florida, Auditor General did an operational audit report 2024-051 in November of 2023. This report covered the period October 21 through December 22, and the report was issued in November of 23. 3 new council members since that time. We have 3 new council members since that time, and I feel it's important that they recognize the issues identified by the state operational audit. Waiting for one of those. Yes, right here. So I'm going to offer a motion to this committee that we recommend to the town council that it empower this committee to inquire with management about the status of the 16 findings and recommendations and submit a report to the town council and the citizens of White Springs regarding the town administration's progress toward addressing those 16 findings. If you recall, in the audit report, there are 16 findings by the state, and the town has replied to each one of those with a plan on how we're going to satisfy. But at the council meetings, we don't really ever hear about what we're doing to comply. So I'm suggesting that we offer ourselves to the committee to help the town council monitor the progress the administration is making for compliance.
And this would help them be in compliance, is that what you're thinking?
Well, it may.
And
I
then
mean,
the next audit, we could do a lot better than we did before.
Well-
Hopefully.
Well, so when we go to a lender or a grantor,
Yeah,
they have this operational audit.
I know that.
So if you go to a town council meeting, you might hear that the reason we don't have grants is because of people going to Tallahassee. Well, on page 1 of the report, this might be another reason we don't have grants, and this is why I think we can help the town council. The operational audit of the town of White Springs focused on the selected town processes and administrative activities. Our audit disclosed a pervasive lack of adequate controls necessary to promote and encourage compliance with state laws, town ordinances and regulations, contracts, grant agreements, and other applicable guidelines. Reliability of the records and reports, and the safeguarding of assets. Specifically, our operational disclosed that, and they go through the 16 findings. So we can help the town process themselves through satisfying these requirements if they ask. If they don't, then all we can do is offer. All I'm doing is making a motion that we as a committee offer ourselves to them in that capacity.
I'll move that we do that. Just offer ourselves to the council.
And when you say that, I'll give that to the county.
Yes, sir. So what I mean by that is, we know the town staff is busy. And some of the things that they need help with, or some of the things that the auditor general would like to see corrected, maybe we can help them document those procedures. We can issue a report to the citizens so the citizens know how we're progressing on the 16 points. Not only the citizens, but as people come here to do business, they look at this report. They want to know that we're getting some of these things corrected. I know because I talked to them. And so that's why I'm making this suggestion. I don't know exactly how they could employ us, but we would be a tool. So.
I want to be helpful if we can be, yeah. When is the next review? Are they coming back, Vanessa? When is the next review? When is the Auditor General?
They're coming back, but we've already addressed half of those issues that were there before we got there. It was because they didn't have files, we're missing files from previous administration, but it's already been addressed.
So everything's been addressed?
The things that we have to work on is things that take over time. We had to do the audits. The audits are up to date, they're done. So a lot of it is addressed. Most of it was taken care of when we changed over the CPA.
Yeah. Okay. And they come back in 1 year or 2 years? When do they come
A
back?
year and a half.
A year and a half? Okay.
All right, so if we decide to do that, I've got a letter here for Mr. Williams to sign to the mayor and to offer our services if we decide to go that route. I drafted a letter. Should I read it?
Yes, please.
This is to Mayor Williams. Dear Mayor Williams, the Auditor Selection Committee advises the town council to authorize the town, that's the wrong letter, sorry about that.
What? I didn't hear it.
The Auditor Selection Committee advises the town council to authorize the Auditor Selection Committee to make inquiries of town management, review records, and request records from other third parties involved in transactions with the town of White Springs. The committee will report to the town council by December 31st, 2024, with its finding as it relates to the town administration's progress on addressing the 16 findings in the Florida Auditor General Operational Audit dated November 23.
Sounds like most of them have been addressed, but we could ascertain that.
So you're asking the town council to give you records, authorization to get records from other agencies, is what you're asking? You just have to put in a 119 request for those agencies, that's public record.
Can the records show that as the town manager speaking, Vanessa?
Is, yeah.
All we're doing is making ourselves available. They
I'm
can,
just
they can say they don't need it.
clarifying. I'm just clarifying so I can
Okay.
understand. So that's what you're asking is for the town to give you authorization to go to a third party to get authorization based on the town, correct? So if I'm not mistaken, anything that you, everything is public record, from the town, from the state. You can do a 119 with the state. We do it
Well,
all the time. I'm just making sure.
The 119 is cumbersome, but if we were helping you to determine whether you had complied or not, or helping the town council decide if you had complied, the fact that we can get stuff quicker than going through the 119 request. I mean, a town council person, Mr. Williams doesn't have to make a 119 request to get information, does he?
Right, so but you.
So all he has to say is,
you get it
Vanessa,
from
I
the
would like
state.
a document, and he gets it. So that's all,
Well, they can get it directly, you can skip, what I'm saying is you can skip us as the middleman and go straight to the state, like you all been doing. You've all been going directly to the state, which is fine. You can skip the middleman, we're just the middleman.
Okay, well, I made the motion, I drafted the letter so we can vote on it or not. No,
See a signature on the signature on it.
well, we have to vote on it, Mr. Williams. Okay.
And she can't hear you if you could all speak up.
So we have a motion on the
I just don't
floor
find it
to approve a letter from Mr. Williams and this committee to the town council that we offer our assistance. All we're doing is offering assistance, so we don't have to take it.
So, let me ask you this.
We have,
So, you
excuse
can-
me, we have a vote up here.
Okay, you're right.
I made the motion. Is there a second?
I don't say.
So if he doesn't second it, I can't second my own motion. So it fails. The motion to have this audit selection committee offer our services to town council fails due to lack of a second. Okay. Okay.
Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
Can't,
Yeah, you'd like to speak, go ahead. State your name.
I'm sorry, Khryse Kantarze, White Springs. Can't the council come to the committee as needed to say we'd like assistance on this, rather than doing the reverse of what you just suggested? Can't they just, as time goes on, they can come and say, hey, we really would like the help for this, without a formal declaration?
I would be open for that.
Sure. All I'm saying is the statute allows this committee to do other things at the purview of the town council, to do other things besides select the audit. That's all I'm bringing up. I'm not, that's,
No,
all
I'm
it is.
just saying they could still request that, whether it's officially through this process that you're suggesting, or we go forward and they decide next week they want some help looking at something.
sure.
Okay.
May I speak?
Sure, state your
I
name.
agree with what Ms. Chris said, because nobody knows what that letter entails. You just wrote that letter, you want them to sign that letter. Have y'all seen the letter before now? So you want them to sign a letter that you just drafted. They need to look at that letter, process that letter, but I don't have a problem with the town coming to you as needed. The only issue that the town has is some of the people who are saying they're offering help really are not offering help. There's a lot of people that help, and they are actually helping. We reach out to them, they do help with some things. But unfortunately, some people that are offering help really, it's not really help. But we don't mind working with the communities, we love to work with the communities. But like you said, it's needed, because some things that they, people think that needs help, we've already taken care of.
And what repeat your suggestion again?
My suggestion is, rather than make it formal, coming from the committee to the mayor to say, we are offering our services. And in my mind, if you are a committee, an audit committee, then the town can utilize you as needed going forward, just saying, we would like the committee to look into this issue. We've hit a roadblock, or we haven't been able to comply, we need suggestions, etc. So rather than have it driven committee to town, it stays as it is, which is town can speak to the committee and ask for input on any issue regarding the audit.
It's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Robert told Ms. Woodard.
You gonna speak?
Yes, sir. Okay, since the motion failed, and you're right, no one seen the letter, I'm gonna make this letter a part of the minutes that was drafted to the mayor regarding the subject matter. So I'm gonna make the letter part of the minutes. So anybody that wants to see it can see it.
I objective to the committee. Any objectives?
Our objective is to help the town council,
Any more objectives?
Choose an auditor.
that can find an audit, 3 auditors, or at least 3 auditors, town council to choose from, interview and choose, after we evaluate and rank them.
And you got a set meeting date?
Or we need our next meeting date, so.
Okay. Citizen from the floor? Anybody have any comments, questions?
We're gonna set a date.
I set a date at a later date.
Okay.
Nothing from the citizen on the floor, no comments?
I think y'all covered it pretty well.
Okay.
I'm Jim Holland, by the way.
Hi, Jim Holland.
I'm a 5-year resident. Yeah, I'm learning, and it's wonderful, I'll tell you, I love it.
Yes.
And, but, you know, it's all necessary to make things work, right?
Exactly.
Yes, sir, okay.
And work together.
And work
For a
together,
better
that's
town,
what it is.
you know, for the citizens of White Spring.
But, yes, that's what we are,
Exactly.
all of us.
All of us.
I go back further than you do, a long way back.
Really?
Yeah.
I go back quite a ways now.
You know what? I found, and I'm getting off track a little bit, and I've been known to go down a rabbit hole every now and then, but my grandmother was born in this city in 1877.
Mm.
Right, she always talked about White Springs and Mayo, so I got a little interest in this town.
Yes.
And I
Great
wound
town.
up here after going all over creation, but I love it, and I'm done, that's it.
Yeah, nice town. It's a pretty safe town.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So on
Let's take the
the,
next.
I'm Judith McClure, and I have to agree with Scott. All he asked was they're offering to help. The town can say, no, thank you, or we've got it under control. There's nothing wrong with the letter that he wrote. Volunteering to help the town come into compliance. I saw the 16 things that the town was out of compliance with, and it shouldn't have been out of compliance to begin with.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with Scott, and I would sure like to see the town volunteer, like you said. I mean, I'd like to see this council volunteer and ask for their
And
help.
ask for help.
Yeah. So you let me know when they do that, okay?
and
I'm
make-
finished, thank
and
you.
make use of the talent that's up there. The town should make use of the talent that they have. Yes, you guys can go and come up with 3 auditors, but apparently there's provision by the law, from what Scott just read, that you can do a lot more than just come up with 3 names or 3 companies. And if the talent is there, and offering that talent and making the town council aware of the talents, there's nothing wrong with that. And to deny it shows lack of
I
transparency
think
in
it's
my
there, we
eyes.
further review it. Okay, yes,
I do have a statement. So if the town, I hear a lot of people saying that it should, and you're right, it shouldn't have. It should have been corrected before I even came, before this council even came. It should have been done over 5 years ago. It should have never gotten to the state that it was. So we came into this spider web mess that we're getting out of, that we're out of. However, if the town is so sincere, people are so sincere about helping, why do we have a written agreement? All of a sudden, this one, I know a lot of you all served on, well, not a lot, served on councils before, but now with this council, you want a written agreement. If you're here to help, you don't need a written agreement to help. It's not that the council is not being transparent. Why do you need a written agreement with this council if you're offering your help, if it's sincere? You want to have agreement so you can kind of like hold the council into certain things. I don't understand the written agreement portion of it because you don't have a written agreement with the council for anything else. And it depends, and that's why it's a little tricky when we hear people saying they want to help. And it's a little leery, especially when it's the same people that when we get phone calls, they're stopping the progress and the growth. And then I hear about us not getting grants. We have grants going on now. So a lot of untruth is being told. We have the CDBG grant that they just voted on, who houses they were gonna, they did this last council meeting. If y'all were there, you'll see it. If you look at the video, you will see that we have that grant. We have the, I just said at the last meeting that we're getting the drinking water grant, so we can put the new meters in there. And that's another thing. So they wanted the town, DEP said, okay, one of the things we need to do is put new meters and new digital meters. Well, it's $300,000. Now, if you want me to try to come get a partner to get it from you all, then I can do that. But what we have to do is apply for grants, and as you all know, just like when they did Bridge Street, it takes forever for you to get a grant. Now, when people call and say, oh, well, the town does not have money to do this and this, it does put a stop sign on that grant. So guess what? We sent them letters, here's our bank statements, here's this, here's everything. So DEP said, you know what? You all can get this grant. You do have the $41,000 that you have to put, that you have set aside so you can pay for engineering so we can upgrade certain things. But guess what? We did have a halt because they were getting so many calls that they thought that we could not. So once they did an investigation to find out we could, now we're back. So that's 2 grants. The only grants that we applied for, we have gotten. And of course, when you apply for a CDBG grant, you have to wait until that grant cycle is done. And once you do that, then you get another one. So I think it's a lot of untruths, half-truth that's going on and making people think that we are not willing to work with people, not willing to. When I first came here, I'm gonna tell you who they told me. They said, Tracy Woodard knows everything about planning and zoning. And I was disappointed when you got off because they said, that's Ms. Woodard, correct? They said, you know everything, you definitely want her. So I'm glad to see you back because you have knowledge that we don't even have. So, you know, it's the people who have done spiteful things that we're like, why? But, you know, what are you saying? It's like you're just trying to paint us in a negative picture. We haven't done anything and hid anything from anybody in this town.
Back to the objectives of the committee, I think we forgot an important point.
Yeah.
We don't know what year we're supposed to be finding an auditor for. Now, in
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
In the Auditor General Report, item number 11, Auditor Selection, I'll read the following sentence, page 18 of the report, which I'll make this report part of the minutes of this meeting. However, our examination of town records and discussion with town personnel regarding the selection of the CPA firm to perform the 2018-19 fiscal year audit and another CPA firm to perform the 2019-20 and 2021 audit fiscal year audits indicated that the CPA firms may not have been selected in accordance with state law. Town records do not demonstrate that the audit services were procured pursuant to state law in a fair and reasonable manner.
May I speak?
No. So state statute 218.391 Section 9 says if the entity fails to select the auditor in accordance with the requirements of subsection 3 through 6, which are the requirements I read first, the entity must again perform the auditor selection process in accordance with this section to select an auditor to conduct audits for subsequent fiscal years. So if our audit selection process has not been followed since 2018, are we supposed to go back and audit those years because they weren't advertised correctly and move forward? I don't know, I'm just asking the question.
So I heard subsequent years, what was that?
This is statute 218.391,
Right.
section 9.
Let's see if
It says
it was
if,
subsequent.
it's on page 2. If the entity fails to select the auditor in accordance with the requirements of subsection 3 through 6, the entity must again perform the auditor selection process in accordance with this section to select an auditor to conduct audits for subsequent fiscal years. So the last time, according to the report on page 18, item number 11, the last time the town properly advertised for an auditor was the 2018 year.
How did we get Mr. Powell?
Well,
I'm glad you brought that up. That's another thing to have proof. I came here in 21. So
When was that?
I came in 21.
Okay.
So when I came in 21, like I was saying previously, the audits were not done.
Yes.
So they had sectional to do the audit. They already had them hired. They were working on 18. They did not finish 18. They didn't have 18 turned in. Remember, it's 2021.
Okay.
So in 18, when I came in 21 and communicated with the Joint Legislative Committee, Debbie White, and I'm talking to her, and then I'm communicating with Section and Snow, can never get them on the phone. I always got the Secretary of Margaret. I got them on the phone, and then they're like, we're gonna turn it in, we're gonna turn it in. Now remember, I'm just walking in, so when I find out and I get a phone call, so I'm trying to call the people. So I had to get the Joint Legislative Committee to reach out to Section and Snow out of Gainesville to tell them you need to present their audit. Section and Snow did the audit, and Debbie White told me, since you had such a hard time and y'all are gonna get your funds withheld because you gotta do 19, 20, 2021, you gotta get all these audits caught up. You need to hire a firm now, and then the next process is when you do the bidding. And that's what we did, and that's why our audits are caught up. But the half-truths are, y'all haven't had one since 18, guess what, I wasn't here. That's not on me. I had to play catch-up. I couldn't do 20 audit when I got in because I had to do 18 and 19. And on some of the findings on the report, when they say they didn't have any documents, so when I came in, they asked me where are the documents. I don't know where the documents are. They even asked me to recreate the documents forensically, which I said no, because I'm not gonna recreate the documents and make them up and then y'all saying I'm falsifying documents. So we just gonna have to do without it. So that's why on those previous audits, it does not have that information.
So then
The
you,
town of White Springs, we don't even have any 2020, nothing, minutes, nothing.
so you hired Mr. Powell then to step in and get the 2021 done?
I hired Howard Jones to do all of them that was back.
Okay.
That was backdated because the funds was being withheld, even, what's the state, what's the place right here? Oh my God, the park.
Stephen Fox.
The park, he couldn't even they couldn't pay their water bills, they held that money until we got those audits in. The state said, we're not paying you a dime. So we lost state funds, now they paid it all once we got our audits in. But they held those funds, so we had to move and get it going. Y'all forget when I came in, I just got a set of keys and passwords, so there was nobody even in the office, but one person is laying on me.
I'm just wondering, when you did hire the accountants, did you do the process by law?
The Joint Legislative Committee told me that I needed to go ahead and get those done, and then the next time, make sure I'm on track with the law.
And when was the next time?
The one that was, what we put out now, we had to do all the backwards. So now we have it out for, what, 21, we even put a RFQ out for 21, 22.
But,
23.
but was it a legal firm? Did it go through the legal
Everything is a
process?
legal form. I
No,
don't
no,
do-
no,
I
no.
don't do
Did it
nothing
go through the
sideways.
process that he read from the state law?
Yeah, we have RFQs that we did in Powell and
You did
Jones County.
three different,
I can't say, hey, you need to apply, you need to apply, you need to apply. We put it out there and whoever applies, just like we.
so that's a no.
What I'm saying
I
is,
can't make anybody, apply to do the audit.
You
I
just-
can't, I even asked you one time and you said, oh, I'm not a municipal type of accountant. You remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, we was just trying to get anybody. We can't get anybody.
So what-
We had FSQs out for 2 years.
Vanessa, you're missing my point. My point is,
No, we could not, we had to do what we had to do to survive, and the state told me to keep it moving. That's what the state
you're on the
told
record
me.
saying the
So
state told you
If I don't get
to
3 RFQs
circumvent the
right
RFP
now,
process.
if I don't get 3 RFPs, if I don't get 3 RFQs right now, so
Or-
you're saying we're not gonna do the audit until we get 3 companies to say, I wanna do White Springs audit?
Well, that's my question. You didn't let me finish. So that's what the state statute says. We've got the finding in the auditor report, and I don't know. I don't know what year we're supposed to be finding an auditor for.
Have you already hired Mr. Powell for the present year?
We just had an RFQ, it just closed. No, we haven't.
Where was it advertised?
It's on our website.
Which
That's
audit
the only
committee
place?
did you use? You circumvented the process by putting the request for proposal out. That's what I'm
It's been
saying.
there since last year, since October.
Okay, look, so,
That's what our job is for, though. I mean,
We didn't have a committee, so we're just getting all
Exactly.
these people. We didn't have a committee. We still don't have a full committee. We have 3. We don't. People say, "Oh, we supposed to have a planning and zoning committee," but guess what? We don't. But I can't make. Hey, you need to be on planning and zoning tomorrow.
So-
I can't make people be on committees.
in order to protect you
Nobody signed
and
up.
us, I'm suggesting, you're not letting me make my suggestion yet. I'm suggesting that since you've engaged a town attorney, that we ask the town attorney to look at the Auditor General report and the statute and advise us which years that we should be seeking an auditor for. That's all. Because I don't know. Did you know,
Let me
Mr.
ask you,
Williams?
I don't understand what a mix up. If we're doing all the audit years are done except this last year, so we're doing 22, 23. I don't understand what.
Because
years
you're
we're
not
doing.
listening. The auditor selection process has not been followed since 2018. So does that void these audits? Because the statute I'm
No, the state
reading,
already accepted the audits. The state is the one who told me to go ahead with the audits. That's why I'm not understanding. If the state has already
well,
awarded the state.
you work for
has
5
already-
city council folks, and now we're on this committee, so we have some responsibility
You
to make
asked me a
things
question,
done
now
correct.
I'm answering your question. You saying are those audits
So-
valid? The state accepted those audits, therefore they're valid. So
Well,
you
then-
want us to say, basically, those audits are not valid because it was an audit submitted.
I'm
So
saying-
we're gonna go back 5 years and do it all over again, is what
I'm
you're
saying that we have a report that says our audit selection process was not followed.
Mhm.
And if you've got documents and all that, let's let the town attorney look at the Auditor General report, the documentation you have from the office over there, and the statute, and advise us on which year we're supposed to solicit an audit for.
she said the
So let me,
RFQ
I'm
just
just trying to
closed.
clarify.
It can't because it wasn't done through this
It
process.
wasn't done through this process.
So it's void. That's what I'm saying.
You're saying it's void, the state is not saying that it's void. The
They-
state is telling us to get it in, so the
I'm
state
saying-
saying that we, only audit that we have to do is this past year that just passed. That's the only year that we're due, and it's due now. That's what we're working on. You're saying it's not void based on the statute. The state, the joint legislative has accepted those audits.
Excuse me, Vanessa.
I'm saying I want an interpretation from an attorney on which years that we're supposed to be auditing.
If the attorney say 18 and the state still, they don't say, why are you resubmitting us these audits?
So I'm going to make a motion that this committee request the town council to ask the new town attorney to review the Auditor General report, section 11, the state statute 218.391, and advise this committee what year we're supposed to solicit an audit for. And that's all I'm asking.
Vanessa, do you have written documentation that the state has accepted those orders?
Yes, that's why we're able to move on with the grants. If we didn't have audits in, we wouldn't be able to get state funds. Like I said, they wouldn't be paying their bills to us, they would stop our funds. Right now, our funds are, we rolling, we
That if you
good.
have that written documentation, forward it to these
Yeah.
folks, forward it to these folks, show them that, and then they can figure out what year they need to start.
We-
Simple as that.
Yeah, I don't know why they're saying what year, it's simple year, it's 20.
Did they tell you from now on, you can just do it with an RFQ on the website and don't worry about anything else?
We have it advertised, as long as we have it advertised, it's advertised out to firms. Like, we can't, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, we can afford to put it in the paper every day for a year. It's been out.
Are you still with the Florida League of Cities?
We are, and we have put things on Florida League of Cities, and it's not, we have put them on Florida League of Cities. Matter of fact, it still may be up.
And like Lake City, will let you put them on their city bulletin board, the county bulletin board? Those have been ways that we've done it in the past.
Now, I'm not familiar with that, I will say that, I'm not familiar with the other county that has put it on their bulletin.
I'm saying,
Chamber of Commerce is another place,
Thank you.
I'm saying, as a member of the committee, I don't know what you're supposed to solicit an audit for. Because I read the operational audit, I read the statute. All I'm doing is asking for the town attorney to agree with Vanessa and tell us, are we soliciting an audit for 22 or 23 or 24?
24 got done.
That's what I'm asking.
You gotta start somewhere, and you gotta get together with it, you know? It can't be, and what
So
happened to
I'm
you
asking that,
back then was what it was. You can't do anything about that.
I'll
But you
second the
gotta go
motion.
forward now, we gotta come together.
all we're
and
doing
get
is
it.
getting the
Right, so
attorney
that's
on
why
the
we
hook.
have it
I would like to have
advertised, so
the
we
attorney
did
tell
18,
us.
19, 19, 20, 20,
I don't like to do
21,
stuff.
21, 22.
We'll stop
Right
at
now,
that.
we're doing 22, 23. So that's the next one, the one that we have to ask for, that we're trying to find a selection for will be 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26.
Vanessa, when you have it in writing and it's there for you and for the committee, there's no misunderstanding. It's
Well, is there writing, I mean, Scott asked for the audits, he got all of them. He got a copy of all of them, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying I don't have the audits. I'm saying that we have a document here from an independent auditor, the state auditor general, that says we're not in compliance with the statute regarding audits. If the town attorney says, you solicit an audit for 2023, that's fine. But right now, it's not clear. And in the position that I'm in, that I explained before, where I'm held to a higher standard, because I am a certified public accountant, and I am supposed to have knowledge about this, I'm asking for the town attorney to clarify what year we're supposed to
I
be
would like to
soliciting
have it
for.
there.
In
So,
2018,
Mr.
why
Williams,
do we
hold on a
ask?
second.
I
Why
think
do
for
we get it done
23.
in 18 and 19?
Have you read the state auditor's general report? Item
Because y'all
11?
ain't calling on them other people, y'all calling on us, so now we see what the town has not done.
Section
Which
11.
makes sense, we were glad it came in, because then we can see where we can start at, what was missing. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand if the audits weren't done, y'all should have been raising hell about the audits not done in 18, 19, or 20. Yeah.
You need to make a motion.
I make a motion that we,
Hold on. 18, 19, and 20, we can get any kind of clarification on the standards of that, anything in writing from that,
We had the audits, we submitted it to the joint legislative committee, they accepted those audits.
okay.
Then that's because you can't submit an audit unless you submit the previous, so I could not submit 21 unless 18 is done. You have to get a bill, so I had to submit 18 or to submit 19. Had to submit 19 or to submit 20, so for us to be in the current year, we had to do all those that were pending and delinquent.
Mr. Williams, all we're asking is the town attorney to clarify which year we're supposed to solicit an audit for.
I'm most concerned about this, the one we're on now, because they know now that we know better. And it says that we're supposed to have three firms in the running, and that's the one I'm really concerned about, because we know now.
Well, Scott, why are you
They
concerned
won't be
about
saying-
18 I'm sorry.
And
we
I
didn't
agree,
know.
but the committee, it's July, we're in budget, and we just having an audit committee meeting. So this should have been done in October, that's when the committee should have been started, that's when it should have started. Not pointing blaming anybody, but we get the blame when stuff is, we in the fourth quarter. So it's time to do the budget. It's time to go ahead and budget. It's time to go ahead and do this. But now we're saying, y'all should have did this, y'all should have done this with citizens. Citizens were not present. Nobody was present in October to be on the committee. Don't have a planning zone. Nobody's present. So we have to keep moving, so we can't shut down because, you know what, the citizens said they don't want to participate, let's go. Let's go home until we can get 5 people that want to commit. And I think it's supposed to be women on this committee.
Takes 3.
Okay, well, we got 3. We just got 3. And how long it took us to get 3?
Thank goodness we got them.
Well, we got, but what I'm saying is still the end of the year, so you still saying, oh, we should have done this and this should have been done this way. Well, why didn't we have an audit committee in the beginning, in 18, when I got here, why we didn't have an audit committee? It's easy to
We
point
did.
the finger at us.
We did have an audit committee in 2018.
Why didn't
But
y'all
that's-
have
that-
y'all
that's-
had one in 2018, but when the new budget came, we didn't have an auditor. That's why I had to choose an auditor based on the joint legislative committee, get somebody to come in and clean up the mess. And I'm gonna tell you, nobody really wanna come clean up mess. It's hard to get people to say, you know what, it's junky, but I'm gonna come in here, I wanna do it. They'll come in when it's nice, this space nice and clean and pretty. They'll come in, oh, I can just move the chair here and there, but when it's a mess, I'm not jumping, they not raising their hand, they not dying to come here. And y'all know White Springs was messed up. I mean, if we're gonna tell the truth, let's just be truthful. Nobody's dying to come in, and now that it's nice and sparkly, people are like, yeah, we'll come over there, we'll take it and check it out, you know.
All I'm asking is that we clarify our position.
One question. You said you was on the committee in 2018,
Yes, sir, I was.
and why wasn't the audit done?
It was done in 2018.
No, it wasn't.
We recommend, okay, here's what happened. The audit committee that I was on, we recommended an auditor, whether it was Mr. Powell or the guy from another gentleman. And the town council decided that all we do is make a recommendation to the town council. The town council decided not to go with either of those folks.
So that's why you didn't have an audit.
Well, an audit was done,
It was done.
but but our committee made the recommendation. The committee I was on made the recommendation. The town council decided not to go along with the recommendation. They went a different route, and that's what happened. We can't make them do anything. All we're doing is advisory. But in that same capacity, we have a responsibility to dot our i's and cross our t's on this committee. The town council can take our advice and say shove it, which they've done before, which they did in 2018. All I'm doing is to cover you, myself, and Tracy, and the town council, which is our job, is to ask the attorney that's on staff to review this yellow writing right here that says we were not in compliance, and review the statute right here that says if you're not in compliance, you start over. Where do we start over? Or do we have to? The attorney can look at that in an hour and tell us.
So,
Whether you have
And
to
then
do
the town-
18 or
Would you
you
be
start
against
now.
asking the attorney for us?
I can ask the attorney anything that y'all ask me to ask, but what I'm saying is, if he was on the committee in 18, it should have been done in 18, or the committee should have had it done in 19, even making the recommendations, but your council at the 18 and 19, you see how it's all falling on me in 2024 when
I don't
all,
blame
no,
you.
I know you're not, but what I'm saying is, it's falling on me and this administration in 2024, like we dropped the ball in 18 and 19. He's saying
I don't
that
think he's
we
saying
could
that.
not, wait a minute, he's saying
No,
that
he's not
we,
saying
they only did what they could do in 18. They did their recommendation in 18, and they can only do what they could do in the past. Well, guess what? That is the past. So we should be focusing, and we're trying to grow, we should be focusing on this year, as they said, as somebody else said, I think this, we need to focus on this year. Let's get this year together. We're gonna go back all the way to 18 for what? We can't do anything about 18. It's not gonna help us as a town to go back to 18.
It puts us in a legal position that we have not
Legally,
recommended the
if
town
the state
council
has already-
to not follow the law.
I wanted y'all to follow the law in 18 and 19, in 20. But in October, let me just go back to this year. In October, why didn't you have a committee? Why couldn't this audit committee be formed when it was supposed to be formed in October? It is July of 2024. It should have been done in October.
You're right. It's the
of
town
2020.
council's job to form the audit committee, not mine.
So it's the town's council's job to go out and hunt and what they did was ask people. Guess what? The same thing they did with the planning and zoning. They asked people to join planning and zoning. You went around poisoning everybody about planning and zoning, and guess what? Everybody got off planning and zoning.
That's all water under the bridge. Tonight, we're deciding if we're gonna make a recommendation to the town council, yes or no. And I'm suggesting that we ask the town council to authorize the new attorney to look at these documents and advise us what year we're supposed to solicit an auditor for. It's that simple. It keeps the three of us and the town council and Vanessa from getting ourselves in a jam 2 years down the road.
And ask him what we can do this year for this audit to stay on track.
We just need clarification, what year are we soliciting? You don't know and I don't know. How are we gonna find out? Vanessa can't tell us. She's the one being audited.
No, Vanessa's not being audited. The town of White Springs is being audited.
Well, you're the town administrator, so.
Yeah, but you
I
gotta,
second the
you gotta
motion to
have
ask the
legal,
attorney.
you gotta have, it's gotta be legal.
What I'm
Okay,
saying
you
is,
second.
I don't
And that's
think
what
I
he's
made a
talking
motion.
about.
I can't make
anything
the
is
motion.
Yes, you
illegal.
can make that.
So if we're gonna move forward, we gonna go back. Y'all want me to work on 18 or y'all want me to work on 24?
We
I
want
mean,
the attorney to say it.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
To ask the
You have to call for the
attorney,
vote, Mr. Williams. All we're doing is asking the attorney to look at it.
I say, listen, I said we get some more clarification on this here. We can call another
Well, what
meeting.
kind of clarification do you need?
No, let me talk.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay,
I
I'm
make
a little
I make the
concerned.
decision. Yeah. You-
Okay.
I understand your concern.
All right.
Okay, I would like to get some more clarification. I'm new to this. I'd like to get some more clarification on this here.
Me
And
too.
what
I'm
route
brand
we
new.
can take. We can always have another meeting. It's not gonna take forever. Okay, you understand? We can always have another meeting on this here. And the route we're gonna take, how we wanna go about doing this.
But we have a motion and a second, and we need a vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
uh,
All opposed?
All opposed?
You opposed?
Yes.
Okay. So all we're gonna do is submit a letter to the town council, asking them to ask the attorney to clarify what year we're supposed to get an audit for. That's all.
all right.
So,
And you don't know when the next meeting's gonna be?
No, I have to do a schedule.
so there's a letter here for your signature with, I don't know if, I don't know how that works. We voted to submit it and share it.
We can't make the chairman believe that.
Okay, so we can make this letter part of the minutes. So the letter that was gonna be made as part of the minutes says, the Audit Selection Committee advises town council to authorize the town attorney to review the State of Florida Auditor General Operational Audit dated November 23rd, finding number 11, as it relates to statute 218.391. The operational audit finds that the auditor selection process was not followed for the years ending September 30, 19, 20, and 21, although reports have been prepared for these years. We are asking for clarification on whether we are to advertise for an auditor for the years 2019, 20, 21, and 22, or should we move forward with the selection process for years 22 and 23. Paragraph 9 in the state statute uses the phrase "must again perform." This leads the committee to seek clarification if the statute intends for the town to advertise and seek an auditor to perform audits for years after the most recent audit when the auditor selection process was followed, which was the year September 30, 18. All we're doing is going to seek clarification, and the record will show that the chairman does not want to sign the letter, and that's his purview, but it's still going to be made part of the minutes. And that covers us. Do you have a copy of this report, Mr. Williams? No, I don't. Would you like a copy of it? Yes. Okay.
Yes, so I guess at what time is it? Meeting adjourned at 7:22, July the 30th, 2024.